Here are some important market statistics you need to know about before buying a home in Marietta, Georgia. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living, and we put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the suburbs around Atlanta, especially Marietta. It's certainly one of my favorite suburbs, and in this video we're going to go on a deep dive of the market statistics here in Marietta so you really know what you're getting into when buying a home in Marietta. These are two of my favorite topics in the whole world: Marietta, which is where I live, and market statistics. So let's take a look at what's happening in the housing market in Marietta today. So at the time of filming this video in early March, what we're seeing is that there are a lot of buyers starting to come on the market, and there are a lot of sellers. This is the typical beginning of the rush for the housing market. It's very common in all of Metro Atlanta to see more real estate activity happening in the spring and early summer. And this is probably common in most parts of the country. It's people trying to get ready for the next school year. People want to be in their new home by the summertime and be ready for where they're going to be living, and they want to be settled by the fall. So this is all super common. So a few things that we're seeing right off the bat is the number of homes that are coming on the market. In Marietta, on the weekend of February 2nd, there were 65 new homes for sale. On February 9th, that weekend, there were 62 new homes for sale. And then February 16th, there were 66 new homes for sale. So this is a great indicator that the number is kind of creeping upward, and I'm sure that in March it will jump upward. I would expect something closer to 70 or 80 homes every week new for sale. So lots more options available here in Marietta. And again, one of the things that makes Marietta so unique is that it's so large. There's so much area here, and there's so many homes, and there's a great economy here. So this is why so many people choose to live here, and that's why there are so many homes here. All of this put together means that there are lots of options when it comes to purchasing homes here in Marietta. The same can't really be said for other suburbs. A lot of other suburbs around Atlanta are a bit smaller. Suwanee is a great suburb. I certainly love that area. It's one of my favorites, but it's a small city. Another one is Duluth, again, kind of a smaller city, so there aren't as many options there. The options that they have are great. I'm definitely not saying that it's a bad area. They have great options, but here in Marietta, there are a lot of options for buying new homes. Another number we should talk about is how many homes are for sale in each price range. So between 300 and 400,000, there's currently 66 homes for sale. Between 400 and 500,000, there are 72 homes for sale. 500 to 600,000, 42 homes. 600 to 700,000, 34 homes, and 700 to 800,000, big dip down to 9 homes for sale. So a few things that we can gather right off the bat from that is the amount of homes for sale between 400 and 500,000. This is the most common price range here in Marietta, the average price range. So naturally, we're going to see the most amount of homes for sale in that price range. And then something else we can see is that there still is plenty of homes for sale between 300 and 400, especially as home prices continue to soar. It's great to see that we can still have more affordable housing here in Marietta. Now, between that 300 to 400 price range, they're going to be older homes. They're certainly not going to be, 10-year-old homes. They're going to be from the 70s and 80s, but there are a lot of 70s and 80s homes here in Marietta that are being remodeled. New flooring, new plumbing, new electrical, new everything is becoming super popular here in Marietta to remodel those older homes. One great example is 488 Ramona Street in Marietta. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath home, about 1,600 square feet, and it's 380,000. So this is a great example of a more remodeled home that's on the older side, but still very affordable. And then, of course, if you're thinking about moving to Marietta, or you're thinking about buying a home here in Marietta, I would love to help you out with your home purchase and your relocation here to the Marietta area. This is what we specialize in. We love helping clients relocate from other states and other countries here to Metro Atlanta. You can feel free to call or text me or email me anytime. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. Okay, back to the numbers. Another really big one that we should take a look at is the average days on market. This is the average amount of days that a house is for sale before the seller finds a buyer. So very commonly here, what we see is that homes go on the market like on a Thursday or Friday. This is the most popular time of the week for people to sell their home. And it's because the real estate agent is trying to get as much people to come and look at the house during that weekend because that's when most people are free. And then it goes under contract by Monday. This is a very typical lifespan for a home that's for sale. It goes on sale on Friday and it's under contract by Monday. And that is kind of very typical for homes here. But of course, there are a few that are not quite move-in ready, or they are a bit overpriced, or something is up with the home and it lasts a bit longer. And so the average days on market on the weekend of February 9th was 16 days. So the average days on market for a home here in Marietta on the weekend of February 2nd was 16 days. And then on the weekend of the 9th, it was 15 days, and then a big jump down on the weekend of the 16th. It was down to 6 days for the average days on market. So right away, we can see lots more buyers starting to come on the market as the beginning of the spring approaches. Another super helpful number to look at is the amount that a home average is being sold for and the average list. So when you list a home, you list it with a certain price, but you obviously don't necessarily get that specific price. Sometimes the home sells for a little bit more. Sometimes it sells for a little bit less. So we take a look at the average list price and we take a look at the average sold price to see if homes are getting more than they're being listed for, like in LA, where every listing apparently gets more than what it's listed for, or if the listing is averaging less than what it's listing for. So for context, a couple of years ago when interest rates were at like 3% and there were tons of buyers on the market here in Marietta, the average was that homes were getting about $50,000 above their list price because of how many offers they were getting. Today, it's a bit different. Now we're looking at more like 97 to 99% of the list price. So if the home lists for about 500,000, the average sold price is closer to about 490, 495 maybe. Just kind of depends on whether or not the home is move-in ready, how much demand the home has, but the average is that it's getting just below the list price. If I haven't lost you yet with all these crazy numbers, I appreciate you sticking around. Let's talk about something else that I'm seeing regularly here in Marietta. There is really just two kind of strategies when people are buying homes, for the most part in all of Metro Atlanta, but definitely here in Marietta. There are the move-in ready homes that are beautiful and perfect and new flooring and new paint, new everything, and like they're priced really well. Those are the ones that tend to go under contract in a matter of days, 2 or 3 days. And then there are the homes that are not necessarily move-in ready, maybe have some kind of small problem. Maybe they need new flooring, or the paint looks terrible, or it's priced a little bit too high. Those homes tend to last on the market closer to 30 days. The reason for this big discrepancy is that many times when someone sells their home, they are like super confident that that home is worth that amount. And it usually takes about 30 days for sellers to change their mind about how much the home is worth. So if they list their home for 500,000 and it's not quite move-in ready, it usually takes about 30 days for them to accept an offer below that list price or to price change the home to lower than 500,000. So because of that amount of time that it usually takes sellers to come to their senses, this is what we're seeing. Homes are either going off the market very quickly or it's taking a month or two. So two very different strategies. What this means for buyers is that you have to have one of these two strategies for buying a home. Either you're going to only look for those move-in ready homes and you're going to jump in with the crowd and all of the multiple offer situations, or you're going to look for the houses where you can get a deal. So pros and cons for both situations. The move-in ready homes are great and you don't have to put any work into them, but you're paying a premium on the price. And then the homes that are not necessarily move-in ready may need a little bit of work, but you're getting a deal. Two very different strategies when it comes to buying a home here in Marietta. And then let's talk about the different parts of Marietta. Because Marietta is so big, there's really like different areas. East Cobb is different than West Cobb, and all of those are different than like the city center where Marietta Square is. So let's take a look at some of those different areas. In East Cobb, we tend to have higher home values. Their homes here are also a bit older. In West Cobb, homes are a little bit less than East Cobb, and you can kind of find homes to be a little bit newer. My preference is West Cobb, even though I live in East Cobb. There is great community, a lot of young families in West Cobb. And so again, you can just find homes to be a bit more affordable. And all of those are different than the center of Marietta. Marietta Square is kind of like the historic area. This is the origins of the city of Marietta. So as you can imagine, the homes there are very old, 100 years old, as well as all of the buildings around there being super old. So this is a very different vibe to East Cobb and West Cobb. You're going to be buying a home that is 100 years old, and even if it doesn't need work right away, having a 100-year-old home is like having another family member. I mean, it's something that you need to care for all the time, but it's something that comes with a lot of character and charm that you can't find in any kind of new construction. So very different kind of feel in the center of Marietta, and then different in East Cobb from West Cobb. If you're still with me, you must be a Marietta enthusiast like I am. I appreciate you sticking around. I made a whole video about the pros and the cons of living in Marietta. There's some great things about living here. The schools, the family, the home prices, the economy here is great, but there's some downsides to living here as well. And you should know what those downsides are. If you're thinking about moving here, it's super important to me as a real estate agent that you are completely made aware of all of the good and the bad of any part of the area that you're wanting to move to. So this video is all about the benefits and the downsides of living in Marietta, Georgia. I'll see you there.